pair of jeans and you're zipping it up. So keep that belly button pulled to the spine, gently tucking your tailbone under and lengthen up. Your shoulders are always down your back pockets. And we're going to start with some arm circles. So just lengthen up. Remember, relax your arms, your hands, squeeze your shoulder blades together. We're just lengthening up, lengthening through the joints. Only if you want to, you can come onto your tiptoes, squeeze your shoulder blades together. So if you want to, soles your feet, tiptoes, squeezing your shoulder blades together. You can see my hands come slightly behind my back. Or you can stay on your tiptoes, just challenging your balance a little bit. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, opening up your chest. Pull that belly button spine when you're on your tiptoes. It really helps with your balance. Tucking my tailbone under. Just one more, lengthen up, lengthen through the joints, squeezing your shoulder blades together and back to center. So we're just going to stretch our neck now, and we're going to interlace our fingers behind our hands. We're pushing our palms together, squeezing your shoulder blades together. If you can push your palms together, it doesn't matter if you can't. And we're bringing both those hands over to my left, your right waist. Can you see? And I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. So both my hands are interlaced, and I'm bringing them over to my left, your right. As I lean, tilt my head to my left, your right. So I can feel, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'll show you what I'm doing from behind. And I can feel a deep stretch in my neck there. Then pull back a piece of string from the crown of the head, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You should feel a nice deep stretch. And back to center. We're going to come over to the other side. Both hands are interlaced. You see what I'm doing? And I'm lengthening my head over to my right, your left. Then pull back a piece of string from the crown of the head, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Feel a deep stretch in the muscles in your neck. And back to center. Just shake it out. So now we're going to stretch our hamstrings. Now you've put your right foot forward, flex your foot, and you rest on your left thigh. Hands on your left thigh. Straight back. We're putting no pressure on our lumbar spine. And I'm sticking out my bottom, and I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, keeping a straight back and keeping my leg nice and straight. Being pulled by a piece of string, feel that deep stretch in the muscles in the leg. Being pulled by a piece of string, hinging at the hips, lengthen forward. Feel a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of your leg. Someone's come off mute. I think I can hear someone in the background. Then C-curve your spine and restack your spine one vertebra at a time. We'll do the other side. So I'm stepping your left leg forward, flex your foot, rest on that supporting leg, hands rested on that supporting leg. And I'm lengthening forward, sticking out my bottom. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, straight back. See if you can come a little bit lower, hinging at the hips, being pulled by a piece of string. Keep that back nice and straight. So I'm feeling a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of my legs. You might come down to about this level. You might come down a little bit lower, hinging at the hips, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Then C-curve that spine as you restack your spine one vertebra at a time. Now, you're going to have your, I hope I didn't slip with my socks. You're going to have your feet slightly wider than hip width apart, and your feet turned out to 45 degrees. Now, you're going to hold onto your thighs, and you're sitting into your seat. So I'm sticking out my bottom. I'll just show you, keeping my back straight again. So I'm sitting into my seat. My back is straight. I'm holding onto my thighs, and I'm pushing my knees apart. And I'm being pulled by a piece of string as I come down. I'll show you from the side. Now we're going to rotate our spine. Stay in this position. I'm really slipping here. And now pushing into my right, your left knee. As I rotate to my left, your right. And I'm being pulled by a piece of string, keeping that back nice and straight. And looking over my left, your right shoulder. So I feel a nice deep stretch in my back. And rotate back center. I'm still sticking out my bottom. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, straight back. Now I'm pushing into my left, your right knee, thigh, sorry. I'm looking over my right shoulder, your left. So I'm keeping my back straight. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, hinging at the hips, sticking out my bottom, feeling a nice deep stretch in the back. And I come back center, then I C-curve my spine and restack my spine one vertebra at a time. And then we just shake it out and we come down onto the mat. So we come down onto the mat. We're going to just do a spine stretch. using our triceps. Oh, I forgot my wrist weights today. So if any of you want to put wrist weights on or ankle weights, so put the band over the arch of your feet. So I've got a black band. This is quite strong. You might want a blue or a yellow band. So we're going to lengthen up, straight back. We're keeping our back straight. We're hinging at the hips, takes pressure away from the lumbar spine. Elbows tapped into the rib cage. But we're stretching our spine and using our triceps, muscles in the back of the arms. So take a breath in, so you breathe out and lean forward. You're keeping a straight back, unhinging at the hips, and feel like you're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Flex those feet, but you're hinging at the hips and lengthening through the hips. So I feel a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of the legs, and I feel a stretch in the calf muscles, elbows tucked into my rib cage as I lengthen behind. So I'm being pulled by a piece of string, and I feel I'm hinging at the hips and lengthening through the hips, feeling that in my triceps, feeling the stretch in the muscles in the back of my legs, elbows tapped into your rib cage as you C-curve the spine, restack one vertebra at a time. And I can feel I'm stretching, I'm strengthening my triceps, stretching the muscles in the back of my legs, lengthening my spine. So I'm hinging at the hips, flex feet. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, and I'm feeling that length from the hip joints, hinging, elbows tapped into my rib cage, and lengthen the arms behind. So I can really feel I'm using those triceps. You might have some wrist weights or weights in your hands as well. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, and then elbows tucked into your rib cage, restack that spine one vertebra at a time, and we'll do one more. Lengthen up, straight back, hinging at the hips, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, elbows tucked into the rib cage. And then lengthen your arms behind, elbows tucked into your rib cage, lengthen, lengthen. I'm holding it for 2 to 3 seconds. You might hold it maybe for 1 or 2. You might hold it for maybe 5 seconds. And restack the spine. We're going to let go of the band. Lengthen your arms up so you're stretching your triceps. Lengthen, lengthen those arms. Stretching those triceps. And then dive over the ball. Try to hinge at the hips again. We're being pulled by a piece of string. Flex the feet. Hinging at the hips. It's not about getting your nose on your knees. It's about lengthening through, lengthening forward. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, and the length's coming from the hips as well. Then restack your spine one vertebra at a time. So now I'm C-curving my spine. Now we're just going to roll down to the mat. You choose if you want assistance of the band. Level 1, hands in line with your shoulders. Level 2, keep those elbows open. Level 3, interlace your fingers behind your head. I'll start at level 2. So relax the feet, relax the legs, lengthen up, nice straight back. Pull that belly button to the spine. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, lean back by an inch. Then tuck in your pelvis, C-curve your spine. Relax the feet, relax the legs, pull the belly button to the spine. Scoop the pelvis, really squeeze the glutes, scoop in the pelvis. Create a nice wheel. Your spine, you've created a wheel. And slowly roll down as slowly as you like. Some of you might want to put a little cheat cushion or a little towel underneath your lumbar spine. Keep those elbows open. This stops you from suddenly falling down if you miss a vertebrae. So remember to breathe, especially breathe out. When you breathe out, pull your belly button to the spine. But remember to breathe, or you're going to feel dizzy. Slowly, slowly roll down. Really feeling that in the core, and then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Cross your ankles if you can, opening up your knees, feeling a deeper stretch in the lumbar spine, hugging your knees to your chest. Now keep on hugging the left leg, lengthen the right leg away, really relax the muscles, so you hug the knee to the chest, lengthen through the hip joint to the right leg, feeling it hip flexor stretch, but you feel you're stretching your glutes. Bring your left knee slightly out to the side so your thigh skims your rib cage, but keep on lengthening through the hip joint. Now hold on to your hamstring, your calf muscle, your ankle, not the back of your knee. Lengthen your leg up to the ceiling. Push into the heel. Keep that right leg lengthened too as you start circling your ankle one way, then the other. Really hugging that lengthened leg to the chest. Lengthen through the joints. Bend the knee and swap over legs. Really lengthen through the hip joint and really relaxing the muscles. All the length comes through the joints. Bringing my right knee slightly out to the side so my thigh skims my rib cage. Really relax the muscles. Feel that hip flexor stretch, and feel you're stretching your right glutes. Hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, not the back of your knee, and push your heel into the ceiling, feeling a deep stretch, especially in the calf muscles. Start circling your ankle one way and then the other. Bring your knee to tabletop, with or without weights in your hands. Bring your knee to tabletop, horizontal alignment, pull that belly button to the spine as you bring your knee across your body. Looking the opposite direction if you can. Only if you want to, you can put a little bit of pressure on your knee. Keep those shoulders glued to the mat, or lengthen out that top leg. If it's too uncomfortable to lengthen out the top leg, keep that knee bent. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Either bring your bent knee back to center or your extended leg back to center. Remember, relax the leg, relax the muscles in the foot, relax the muscles in the leg, relax the foot, and let your core do the work. And we swap over. Horizontal alignment of my shins, tray drinks on my shins. I'm bringing my knee across my body, looking in the opposite direction. I'm teeing my arms, really lengthening through the shoulder joints, opening my chest, keeping my shoulders glued to the mat. You can put a little bit of pressure on your knee, but you don't want pressure on the lumbar spine. Only if you want to, you can extend that leg. Don't do it if you've got pressure on the lumbar spine. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Either bring the lengthened leg back to center, relax it, or bring the bent knee back to center. Use your core to do the work. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. The next exercise we're going to do is the half scissor. So you choose the leg position, the arm position that's good for you. So you can either keep your hands on the mat, up to the ceiling, lengthen your arms over your head, or interlace. Remember, if you're going to choose to interlace, you're being pulled by a piece of string, and I'm trying to get my chest up to the ceiling, pulling my shoulders off the mat. Now we're doing the half scissor. Bring one knee up to tabletop and lengthen that leg up to the ceiling. So the supporting leg can be bent or lengthened depending on your flexibility. You choose the level that's good for you. Now I'm flexing down and soft point up. Flex down and soft point up. Now you come to a level that's good for you. You might be able to flex all the way down to the mat, or you might be able to soft point up. Remember, it's soft because you're lengthening through the hip joints. Or you might come down by 40 or 50 centimeters, because when you come down, if you start flaring out your rib cage, you're out of alignment. You want to stay in alignment, melting that rib cage into the mat, pulling your belly button to the spine. So if you feel you can extend that supporting leg, do so, but you don't want to flare up your rib cage when you extend that leg. If you flare up your rib cage and it gets a little bit too tricky, just bend that knee. Slow and controlled, lengthening through the joints. You choose the arm position that's good for you. We'll just do a couple more and then we'll do the other leg. Remember, if any of you have interlaced, remember you're trying to peel your shoulders off the mat. I have hardly any pressure under that supporting leg, whether it's my supporting foot with my knee bent, or that extended leg. I've got hardly any pressure, so I can really feel my core switched on. This is the final one. And then we hug our knees to our chest, cross your ankles if you can. Open up your knees, feeling a deeper stretch, and rock from side to side. We're going to go straight to the other side. Choose the leg position that's good for you. So we're flexing down and soft point up. So you might come down by 40 or 50 centimeters, pull the belly button to the spine, melt the rib cage into the mat. Keep on pulling that belly button to the spine. Feel like you've really activated your deep core muscles. Or you might be able to come all the way down to the floor, lengthening through the hip joint, soft point up. And I'm lengthening, and trying to relax my leg. Choose the arm position that's good for you. Now I've got hardly any pressure under that supporting foot, or with my legs extended, hardly any pressure under that leg. Can really feel that in the deep core muscles. Choose the arm position that's good for you. Remember, I'm lengthening through the joints, slow and controlled. You're interlacing your fingers behind your head. Remember, really try to peel the shoulders off the mat. I'm being pulled in that direction behind me, trying to lift my chest up to the ceiling. This is the final one, and then we're going to hug our knees to our chest and rock from side to side. If you can grab your ball, put the ball between your knees, to your arms, wiggle without weights. If you've got weights, just keep your shoulders glued to the mat and just float your hands off the mat so you can feel you're using your triceps. Squeeze the ball, hardly any pressure under the soles of your feet. If you want to deepen the stretch and work your core a little bit more, come up to tabletop, but you don't want any pressure in the lumbar spine. Pressure in the lumbar spine, keep your feet on the mat. So keep on squeezing that ball, pulling the belly button spine. I can really feel I've activated my deep core muscles as well as using the muscles in my inner thighs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that ball. And now we're going to squeeze as we drop to the left and look to the right. Squeeze the ball. Feel a nice deep stretch down one side. And really feel you're using your core. Lengthen out the top leg. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through all the joints of your shoulder joints, your knee joint, and your hip joint. Squeezing the ball at the same time. Bend the knee. Pull the belly button spine. Melt the rib cage into the mat. Squeeze that ball. I can really feel that in my core. And over to the right. Look to your left. I'm lengthening my arms at T, keeping my shoulders glued to the mat as I lengthen out my top leg. Keep on squeezing the ball. Squeeze the ball and squeeze back to center. Some of you might have your feet on the mat, so you're dropping your knees to the left, looking to the right, squeezing the ball and lengthening out that top leg. So not only am I lengthening, feeling a nice deep stretch down one side, I'm really working my deep core muscles and my inner thighs. Squeeze ball back center, over to the right, look to the left. Squeeze ball, lengthen out that leg. Keep on squeezing, lengthen through the shoulder joints. Bend the knee, squeeze the ball back to center. And I'm really squeezing that ball, I can really feel that in the deep core muscles. Just hug your knees to your chest. Rock from side to side. Let's do a quick full body stretch, because I feel we're really using the deep core muscles. And back to center. Now the next exercise we're going to do, we did it the other day, and it's called an isometric hold. So it's a static move. So you're going to bring either one knee or two knees up to tabletop. If that's too much on your core, your back, just bring one foot down and swap halfway through. So you've got your knees at tabletop, horizontal alignment. You're going to put your hands on your thighs and you're going to push against each other. So equal force, so my legs aren't moving and my hands aren't moving. So take a breath in, pull that belly button to the spine, and I'm pushing my hands against my thighs and pushing my thighs against my hands. And I can breathe as hard as I can, and that is really, relax the feet. That's really working my deep core muscles. Now this is your own personal challenge. Stay there for as long as you want. So I'm going to have a little rest, swap over legs. For some of you doing one leg only. I'm going to come up to tabletop, hold on to my thighs, take a breath in. So I breathe out and pushing, creating an equilibrium. So it's the same equal forces against each other. So I'm not pushing my legs away, not pushing my arms. So I'm really pushing, creating that equal force. Pull the belly button to the spine. And I can really feel that's working my deep core muscles. It looks like I'm doing nothing. Really try not to cheat and really work as hard as you can. Your own personal challenge. Pull your belly button to the spine. Remember to breathe. I'm going to have a little rest. Remember, this is your own personal challenge. And this is going to be your final one. Hold on to your thighs. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, push. Really push. Pull that belly button to the spine. Relax the feet. And really push. Remember to breathe. Oh, I can really feel I'm working my deep core muscles there. Pull that belly button to the spine. Rest whenever you like and just coming up to do your final one. We're going to make it 3, 2, 1. Oh, and then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side, really hugging your knees to your chest. Hopefully, if you've got time, I'll do a little bit more supine work, but we go straight onto our side now. So do a full body stretch. Pull your belly button, spine, lengthen, lengthen. We'll come right over to the side and we're going to do the classic oyster. So we're going to come to the side. So some of you might want to put a loop band around your thighs, but this one gets quite tricky. So remember, you don't have to use any equipment at all. You just use the weight of your body. So we're lying in between two panes of glass, that double glazing. I'm lying on my arm. head in my hands, progression up to your elbow, or you can, oh, my weight's fallen off, or you can hold on to your temples. Now bend your knees in front, so your feet are in line with your bottom, bending your knees in front. They're not behind, my knees are in front. Make sure the top of your body's in 2 panes glass, that double glazing. My knees are just stacked in front. Now you can either keep your feet on the floor, or your feet can float up to the ceiling as high as they can go, but your pelvis stays completely vertical. I don't lean back or forward. So relax the feet. I find it easier with my feet floated. So I'm keeping that pelvis nice and straight, shoulders down my back pockets, look straight out in front. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, I float up my knee. Relax the feet and the legs, all from the hip joints. Open up, we're gonna hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. Pelvis is completely vertical. Don't open up, don't roll forward. I can feel that in my glutes already and my thighs. And back to center. Take a breath in as you breathe out, open up as much as you can. Relax those feet, open up, pull the belly button, spine open up. Hold, pull that belly button to the spine. Classic oyster. Remember, if some of you want to come up onto your elbows, please do so. Now, if you want to progress, you either stay at opening and closing, really opening up as much as you can. If you want to progress, we're not going to move our thighs. As you lengthen out that leg, relax the foot, relax the leg, lengthen through the hip joint. We come round the saucer one way and round the saucer in the opposite direction. Bend the knee, don't move the thigh, relax the foot. My top foot meets my bottom foot and I close, and I can really feel my glutes are burning. If you want to feel more of a burn, come up onto your elbows, shoulders stacked over your elbow. Open up, hold for 3, 2, 1, lift up that waist, chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. Never move that thigh, lengthen through the joints, relax the foot. Around the saucer one way, around the saucer in the opposite direction. Maybe you can do more of a dinner plate, try to get a little bit higher. Foot to foot, and my knee comes down. If you want to rest, just do your classic opening and closing. So I open up, hold for 2, 3, 2, 1. Thigh doesn't move, relax the foot, lengthen through the hip joint, glutes, thighs are burning. Can really feel I'm working my deep core muscles around the saucer, maybe a dinner plate for some of you. One direction and the other direction. Keep that knee lifted, foot to foot, and knee comes down. My glutes are burning, even my bottom glute is burning out. Lift up, keep those feet lifted. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Don't move the thigh, don't move, nothing is moving apart from my leg from the knee joint. Round the saucer one way, all the movement comes from the hip joint. Don't move your foot, it's all hinging from the hip joint. We'll just do a couple more. Open up, open. Pelvis stays completely vertical. Lengthen out. Round the saucer one way, round the saucer in the opposite direction. Slow and controlled. One more. Glutes are burning now, thighs are really burning. Remember to chest out to sun, shoulders down your back pockets. Don't, even at this position, remember to keep your shoulders down your back pockets. Lengthen out. This is a final one. Round the saucer one way, round the saucer in the opposite direction. Bend, and then just pat it out. We'll just pat it out. We're going to take off our loop bands. We're all going to do the classic open book with increased range of motion. So you can choose to open up your book with a band, a weight, or both, or maybe nothing at all, and just use the weight of your body. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. You want to feel comfortably challenged. Everyone's going to lie on the edge of their block. It's really important you lie on the edge of your block. You bend your knees forward. My shins are in line with the edge of the mat. I lengthen my arms out in front, palm to palm, and you're going to lengthen your top leg diagonally across. Really relax the foot, lengthen through the hip joint. Your pelvis is going to stay completely vertical. Now I lengthen my top arm longer than my bottom. Now I'm always keeping my arm lengthened now, lengthen through the joints. And I open up my book, head follows my hand. I have a weight and a band. I've got my band quite tight, but you choose the level that's good for you. Really lengthen your arms away from each other. Look down at your pelvis. My pelvis is vertical. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, close the book. Lengthen, lengthen. As you close your book, you gently, with control, swing your leg, lengthen and lift behind you. Relax the foot, lengthen through the hip joint. So I feel I'm opening up my hip flexors here, but I can feel I'm using my glutes as I lengthen and lift. We're going to hold it for 2 to 3 seconds, and then I'll lengthen my top arm, lengthen my bottom. I've got quite a tight band, really feeling that in the waist as well. Now I'm increasing my range of motion. My leg is directly in front of me. I'm going to see if I can get my leg a little bit higher so my head follows my hand. Lengthening my arms at T. Now I can feel a stretch in my lumbar spine, my glutes and my hamstrings now, because I've increased my range of motion. It's okay if your leg only comes diagonally across. It might come in front, but you might be able to get it a little bit higher. It's your journey, so you get off at your own bus stop. Close the book and with control, swing that leg behind you. Slow and controlled, holding it for 2 to 3 seconds. Lengthen and lift. Pelvis doesn't move, set in stone. Just do a couple more. Lengthen, head follows my hand. Really open up the chest. Big range of motion with my legs. Pull the belly button to the spine. Swing your leg behind you. Close your book. Keep everything lengthened. Hold. We're just going to do one more. Lovely deep stretch. But with those weights, you're really creating strength too. Nice big range of motion. Some of you might have some ankle weights on. Maybe next time I'm going to put my ankle weights on if you want to just challenge yourself a little bit more, and then we'll just cut it out. We're going to come straight back in supine because we're going to do the bridge. We're going to do a couple of bridges first, but we're just going to do a nice deep stretch with the ball. Remove your block, put the ball between your knees. You can choose whether you want to put a loop band, a resistance band, sorry, around your hips, creating resistance. And you're going to really squeeze that ball. So have your push into your heels, squeeze the ball. You might want to roll up on one leg if you want to. So we're going to do 2 of these and then change legs. It's up to you. So take a breath in as you breathe out. Squeeze your ball, squeeze your glutes, push into your heels, fire up the glutes. Only if you want to, you might want to come onto your tiptoes. I'm creating resistance here. I'm lengthening my arms over my head. If it feels too uncomfortable to lengthen your arms over your head, keep your arms lengthened up to the ceiling. But if you can increase your range of motion, great. Tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the ball, pull the belly button spine, the hips up to the ceiling. I'm pulling my band apart, then tucking your pelvis. C-curve your spine. Some of you might be still on your one leg and roll back down to center. One vertebra at a time. And lengthen your arms back to center. My band's nice and tight around my hips because I'm creating a bit of resistance, working out my arms a little bit more. Squeeze the ball, squeeze your glutes, push into the heels, really firing up my glutes. Take on tension from the band. Only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes. So some of you might be doing it like that. On one leg, make sure your thighs are in alignment. Squeeze the ball and lengthen your arms over your head. Lengthen your knees and arms away from each other. Squeeze glutes, hips up to the ceiling, tuck the tailbone under. Remember that perfect alignment. Keep those arms lengthened over your head as I tuck in my pelvis, C-curve my spine. I'm trying to hit every single vertebrae on the mat and lengthen back to center. Remove the ball, remove your band, and we're just going to do some, we're going to go up and down. So you're going to squeeze your glutes and you're just going to come up in one unit, down in one unit, and can you see my back just hovers off the mat? Now this is your own personal challenge. So we're going to squeeze the glutes, push into the heels, up in one unit, push into the heels, and down in one unit. Up in one unit, and down in one unit. Now, if you want to progress, it's your own personal challenge, rest whenever you like. You can lengthen your arms over your head. Up in one unit, down in one unit. Now, whatever position you're in, whether your hands are on the mat or lengthened over your head, remember, rest whenever you like. You're pushing into your heels, squeezing your glutes. I'm just hovering my spine 1 inch above the floor. Now, if you want to progress, as I come up in one unit, down in one unit, I'm going to rest, walk my feet away, up in one unit. I'm just firing up my glutes a little bit more here. You don't have to walk your feet away. So I'm just doing a couple, up in one unit, down in one unit, rest. I'm walking my feet away. This just helps you fire your glutes a little bit more. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can just come up and down in one unit, pushing into your heels. I'm going to have a little rest and walk my feet out a little bit more. This is just a little bit of a different, you can really feel this in your glutes, pushing into your heels. We'll just do a few more. This is the final one, then I want you to roll down, either roll down, come back to center, hugging your knees to your chest, or you can slowly roll down, doing your regular crunch, holding onto your hamstrings or lengthening your arms out to the ceiling, into your boat, sticking out your chest. Remember, some of you will be holding onto your hamstrings for sport. Progression, lengthening your arms out to the side, and we're going to lengthen our arms up to the ceiling or keep on holding onto your hamstrings for your teaser. Or some of you might just be hugging your knees to your chest. You choose the level that's good for you. And slowly, slowly roll down as slowly as you can. One vertebra at a time. Slowly, slowly, slowly roll down. Then everyone hugs their knees to their chest and rock from side to side. See if you can cross your ankles and open up your knees. Just getting a deeper stretch in the muscles in your back and your glutes. Full body stretch. And then we're coming to the other side. Ooh. Pulling that belly button spine, melting the rib cage into the mat. And then we roll over to the side and we'll just do the classic oyster with or without the resistance band around your thighs. So you choose the position that's good for you. So I'm in that double glazing, 2 panes of glass. I bend my knees in front. My feet are in line with the soles of my bottom, but I'm still, the top of my body is still in that double glazing, feet on the mat. Or progression, float your feet up to the ceiling. I find it more comfortable. Choose to come up onto your elbow if you want to progress a little bit more. Take a breath in, pelvis doesn't move. I'm floating up my knee as high as it can go without moving my pelvis. And I'm going to hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. Relax the feet, relax the leg. It's all coming from the hip joint and back to center. I can really feel that in my glutes. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Really floating up my knee, hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. Now, if this level feels good for you, just stay here. But if you want to progress, just opening and closing. If you want to progress, you open up. My thigh doesn't move at all. As I just lengthen out my leg, relax the foot, relax the leg, lengthen through the hip joint, glutes are burning. And I'm coming around the saucer one way and around the saucer in the opposite direction. Maybe you might be able to go a bit higher and come around the dinner plate. Bend your knee, relax the feet, foot to foot and knee to knee. Glutes are burning, even my bottom glute is burning. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Float up your knee, remember to breathe, pulling the belly button spine. Don't lean back, you're going to put too much pressure on your lumbar spine. Keep that pelvis nice and horizontal, don't move the knee. The thigh, sorry, as you lengthen out, lengthen through the hips. You're not coming around the saucer with your foot like that. All the movement comes from the hip joint, because you're relaxing your foot, you're relaxing your leg. Glutes are totally burning now, so are my thighs. If you press in between your hip joints, really press, you can see you've really switched on your deep core muscles. So I'm pressing in between my hip joints now, and I can feel something is going on. It's your transverse abdominis that have really switched on your deep core muscles. Up onto your elbow if you want to progress a little bit further. Even further, holding on to those temples. Around the saucer one way, around the saucer in the opposite direction. Total stability of the main trunk of your body. Total stability. You can see the only thing that's moving is my leg and my hip joint. Glutes completely burning now. Slow and controlled. This will be the final one. Remember to lift the waist. Chest out to the sun, look in front of you, shoulders down your back pockets, slow and controlled, lengthen, round the saucer one way, round the saucer in the opposite direction. This is the final one, and then just pat it out. So the next exercise we're going to do is the open book. So you choose the equipment that's good for you. And as I was saying, you might want to put some ankle weights on. I think Julia really likes ankle weights. I'm pretty sure Julia wears ankle weights and she really feels she's progressed with them. I think Julia said before Christmas she felt she was really toning up. So your hands are in front of you, palm to palm. You've lengthened and lifted your top leg diagonally across. Now you lengthen your top arm longer than your bottom, and you always keep it lengthened now. Have that band as slack, as tight as you want. Head follows my hand, open up my books. I'm looking at my pelvis stays vertical. I'm relaxing my leg, lengthening through the hip joint, relax my foot. I'm closing my book, lengthen, 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 slow and controlled. Slow and controlled. I swing my leg behind me, lengthen and lift. Relax that foot, lengthen through the hip joint, pull the belly button to the spine. You can feel that in my opening up my hip flexors, and feel it in my glutes. Now I'm going to increase my range of motion. My leg comes in front. I'm going to see if I can get it a little bit higher. So just come to the level that's good for you. So now I'm going to get my leg a little bit higher, feeling a stretch in my lumbar spine, my glutes and my hamstrings. I'm still have my hands at T, looking at my open book, looking at my hand. Lengthen, lengthen, closing the book, swinging the leg behind. See if you can hold it there for 2-3 seconds. This is a final one. Slow and controlled. Head follows my hand. Really increase that range of motion. Lengthen your arms away from each other. This is a final one. Lengthen, lengthen, really feeling that in my waist as well. Lengthen, lift, pull the belly button, spine, and bend your knee and pat it out. We're going to go straight into prone now. You can choose, actually for this one, ankle weights would be great if you wanted to progress. You can choose with this one to put the loop band around your ankles. And as we lengthen and lift our legs, you can choose to pull them apart, but I'm not going to. Now, we're going to do, for those who were here on Monday, we've never done this exercise before, but yeah, those who were here on Monday, it's a version of the Cobra, like I showed you the other day. So either your hands sit underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your rib cage. If that's too uncomfortable, walk your hands forward a little bit so your hands are next to your ears. But the aim is to have your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your rib cage. And my legs at a soft V, so my feet are about mat width apart, takes pressure away from the lumbar spine. Push into your pubic bone, pull your belly button spine, really, really important to protect your lumbar spine. And remember, some of you might have your hands next to your ears. Now this is more of like a seesaw. I'm going to take you through the progressions. So I roll the marble forward with my nose. I lengthen and lift my head and sternum. And I'm shoulders down my back pockets. So I'm lengthening and lifting my head and sternum, pushing into my pubic bone, pulling my belly button spine. Now I've got hardly any pressure underneath my hands because I want the muscles in my upper back to do the work. Pull your belly button spine, push the pubic bone into the mat and lengthen back to center. Now we keep our head on the mat as we either lengthen and lift either one leg, or you might be able to lengthen and lift two legs. Pull the belly button spine, short hips glued to the mat. Really feel your glutes doing the work. You lengthen and lift through your glutes. Relax your feet. Lengthen, lift. One leg or two legs come down. You choose the level that's good for you. Now roll the marble forward. Hardly any pressure under my hands. Push into my pubic bone. Pull my belly button spine. And I'm letting the muscles in my upper back lengthen and lift my head and sternum. Now either keep your hands on the mat, or some of you might want to squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift up your hands. It's up to you, that's the progression. I slowly come down. Then you lengthen the lift, opposite leg, or some of you might be going straight into two-leg lift. Really lengthen and lift those legs as high as you can. If you get pressure in the lumbar spine, just lengthen and lift one leg only. So you choose the level that's good for you. I lengthen back to center. Then I roll the marble forward. I've got hardly any pressure under my hands. I feel the muscles in my back, lengthening, lifting my head and sternum, shoulders down the back pockets. Some of you might want to float your hands off the mat, pull your belly button spine. Push your pubic bone into the mat. I'm squeezing a tennis ball between my shoulder blades. And slowly back to centre. Lengthen, lift, opposite leg, or some of you might be able to lengthen and lift both legs. Hips glued to the mat. Feel it in your glutes. See, if you've got ankle weights on, that's going to be really challenging. Roll the marble forward. Hardly any pressure under my hands. Feeling my upper back, my muscles of my upper back doing the work. Elbows tucked into your rib cage. Some of you might want to come a bit further and float your hands off the mat, squeezing your shoulder blades together. We'll just do one more. Lengthen it, one leg or two, is up to you. Really relax the feet. Pull the belly button to the spine. This is spine one. Lengthen and lift. I can feel that I'm using the muscles in my upper back. Some of you might want to float your hands off the mat. Elbows tucked into your ribcage. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And we're all going to come back to centre. Hands at capital E. And we're rocking our hips from side to side, releasing any tension in the lumbar spine. Rocking from side to side. Now we're just going to do Cobra Prep and then Lizard, so some spinal extensions. So push your pubic bone into the mat, pull your belly button to the spine. My hands are at capital E, remember, my elbows are in line with my shoulders. So roll the marble forward with my nose, pull your belly button to the spine, push your pubic bone into the mat. Lengthen and lift my head and sternum. And I'm trying to get my shoulders down my back pockets as I lift my chest out to the sun. Extending my spine, push that pubic bone into the mat, pull the belly button spine, takes pressure away from your lumbar spine. And lengthen back to centre. Lengthen, you're being pulled by a piece of string. Now we're going to roll the marble forward with our nose. Shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the sun. Shoulders down those back pockets. Now push into your left hand. Look over your left shoulder. Push into your left hip and really look over that shoulder. Remember your feet are mat width apart, taking pressure away from your lumbar spine. Really look over your shoulder. Right elbow, glued to the mat. And lengthen back to centre. We'll do the other side. Roll the marble forward. Shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the side. Push into your right hand. Look over your right shoulder. Hips, your right hip is glued to the mat. Left elbow glued to the mat. Really look over that shoulder and lengthen back to centre. Now we'll do full Cobra. Some of you might want to extend that spinal extension by having your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your ribcage. We roll the marble forward. Shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the side. Now I'm pushing into my hands, trying to get my elbows off the mat. Doesn't matter if your elbows don't come off the mat. Pull your belly button spine, shoulders down your back pockets. Some of you might have your hands underneath your shoulders for a deeper spinal extension. Keep those hips glued to the mat. Pull the belly button spine and lengthen forward. Everyone puts their hands underneath their shoulders and we come into 4-point kneeling for a cat and a cow. So pull the belly button to the spine. Dip your chin to your chest, push into your palms and really C-curve your spine. Now I'm squeezing my glutes and a piece of string is pulling you from the belly button to the spine. Dip your chin to your chest, push into your palms. Really C-curve in that spine and cow. Stick out the bottom. Squeeze a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. Pull that belly button to the spine. One more cat. Pull the belly button to the spine. Squeeze the glutes. Push into the palms. So imagine that piece of string is pulling you from the belly button to the spine. Really stick your chin to your chest. And one more cow. Sticking out the bottom. Squeezing a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. And back to 4-point kneeling. Now, with or without a band, we're doing classic swimming today. But for those who were here Monday, it's going to be slightly different. Now, it's classic swimming, but I'm going to quickly show you. You're going to either just use your legs only, if you're on blocks and it's too uncomfortable to lengthen out your hands. But I'm going to show you. I want you to lengthen out leg and arm. But can you see, as I lengthen out, my thumb goes up to the ceiling. So I want to lengthen and lift using my glutes as high as I can go. So you might not need a band for this one. So I'm not staying at hip height. My thumb is pointed up to the ceiling. So I'm lengthening out. And I'm lifting my leg and my hand as high as it can go. And you're going to hold it there for at least 3 to 5 seconds. and really feel it in the glutes and the muscles in the back. You can choose to hold a band at the same time. Now you lengthen the lift, opposite leg and arm, thumb is pointed up to the ceiling. And I'm trying to lengthen and lift my leg as high as it can go up to the ceiling, and lengthen and lift my arm as high as it can go. Now can you really think about pushing into the palm of your hands? I'm really thinking about pushing into the palm of my hands, and that I feel really switches on my deep core muscles a lot more. Some of you might want to do this with a band, but I actually find this one hard enough. So I lengthen the lift, my thumbs up to the ceiling, and I lengthen and lift my leg and my arms high as it can go. Pull your belly button and spine, look down in the mirror. Now I'm really thinking about pushing into my palm, and I can really feel I've fired up my deep core muscles. Remember, you're still balancing a bowl of soup on your lumbar spine. So I'm lengthening your lift, my shoulder height, hip height, thumb is pointed up to the ceiling. I'm still trying to touch something with my toes, something with my fingers. And I'm trying to lengthen and lift as high as I can go. And I'm really thinking about pushing into my palm, the base of my palm, push into it. And really fired up I can really feel that in the waist. Hopefully you can too. Balancing that bowl of soup. So stay there for at least, if you can, 3 to 5 seconds. I lengthen out, total stability. I'm trying to get as high as I can go. Thumb up to the ceiling, thumb up to the ceiling. Foot up to the ceiling, lengthen through the joints. Feel you're using your glutes and your shoulders. I'm really pushing into my palm, really firing up those deep core muscles, really feeling that in the shoulders as well. Remember, if you want to rest, just come down and do your leg only. You don't have to incorporate the arm. As high as it can go, still balancing that bowl of soup. I'm relaxing my foot and I'm using my glutes. I've had a little rest. Now I'm going to incorporate the arm. Thumb up to the ceiling. Lengthen out. I'm really thinking about pushing in to that supporting hand, into the palm, the supporting hand. Really feel that in the waist. Lengthen and lifting. Relax the foot so you're feeling it in the glutes. Try and get your thumb up to the ceiling. This is going to be the final one. You can really feel that. For me, I don't need a band. Especially I've got wrist weights on. Lengthen and lift. Pushing my thumb up to the ceiling. Look down in the mirror. I'm really pushing into that supporting hand. The base, my supporting hand. Really that's firing up my waist. And back to center. Everyone into a child's pose. Lengthen those arms forward. Push your chest into the mat. Walk those hands forward, pushing your chest into the mat. Some of you might just want to rock from side to side as you lengthen your arms forward, pushing your chest into the mat, sitting on your heels. Now slowly walk your hands over to 10 o'clock, right hand on left. And I'm still walking those hands forward as I sit, as I push my chest into the mat, sitting on my heels. Feeling a lovely deep stretch down my right side. Now slowly walk over to 12, lengthen forward, chest into the mat. And I walk over to 2, left hand sits on right. And I'm still walking those hands away, pushing my chest into the mat, sitting onto my heels, feeling a nice deep stretch down the left side. And I walk over to 12. And then I C-curve my spine, squeeze my glutes and come up to 4-point kneeling. And now we're going to do open book. But before, what we're going to do first of all, slightly different today, with or without a band. First of all, you're going to lengthen your right arm out to the side, and we're just going to open up first of all. Keeping those hips nice and flat. Open up, lengthen your arms away from each other. Remember, you don't need a band. And now we're going to thread our right arm under our left and lengthen that arm away before your shoulder hits mat. It doesn't matter if your shoulder doesn't hit the mat. Pushing into your left hand. Only if you want to, as a progression, you lengthen and lift your left leg, keeping those hips flat. Don't open them up. Keep the hips flat. Some of you might want to swing your left leg out to the side as we lengthen out to the side or up to the ceiling. With or without a band, squeeze a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. Open up your chest. Really lengthen your arms away from each other. And then lengthen, lengthen, lengthen back center. Slowly lengthen back to center. Because I've got a band and a wrist weight, I really can feel that in my waist as well as my shoulders. So with or without a band, first of all, left arm, we're opening up first of all. Lovely deep stretch. Lovely deep stretch. You might open up to here. A bit further, you might be able to really rotate that spine, keeping the hips set and staying. Then our left hand swings, threads underneath our right, with or without a band. Have that band as slack, as tight as you want. Try and put your shoulder on the mat, doesn't matter if you don't, midline to your body. Pushing into your right hand. Lengthen only if you want to, as a progression. Lengthen or lengthen and lift your right leg and swing it out to the right. It is a progression. Length unthread, your arm comes out to the side. You might be able to increase your range of motion, opening up your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and slowly lengthen, lengthen, lengthen back to center. Slow and controlled, slowly come back to center, bring your leg in, and then we all come to seated. We're going to stretch it out. Now you choose whether you just want to roll down on the side, or you choose, we're going to continue using our core, if you want to slowly roll down with a band, level 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to slowly roll down. So lengthen up, take a breath in. As you breathe out, lean back by an inch. Then tuck in your pelvis, C-curve your spine. Relax the feet. Some of you might be at level 1, hands in line with your shoulders. Relax the feet, relax the legs, pull the belly button to the spine. Some of you might have your cheek cushion or towel underneath your lumbar spine. So if your spine isn't flexible enough, you might skip a few vertebrae and suddenly fall down like that. So that just stops you from falling down. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. I think just for a couple of minutes, I did say I wanted to show you another supine exercise. So we're just going to do our supine exercise we've done before, where we bring our knees up to tabletop and we cross our ankles. I'll just show you from here. If it's too uncomfortable, you use one leg only. We're going to cross our ankles, open up our knees. So you might want a loop band around your thighs. You choose the arm position that's good for you. And we're really opening up the knees and we're just tapping our feet into the water. Now you choose the range of motion that's good for you. So you might come down by a few inches, or you might be able to tap your toes into the water. Really think about opening up those knees. Now the aim is to sort of try to lengthen out those legs. So I'm opening up my knees and I'm lengthening out my legs. So I've got a thin diamond and a fat diamond. So I'm lengthening out. So I can really feel the muscles in my glutes. My thighs is all wrapping around here, but I can feel it in my deep core muscles. So I've crossed my feet, my ankles, and tapping my feet into the water. Now I've got a fat diamond and slightly thinner. You might come down by a few inches, or you might have a really narrow diamond and lengthen your legs down to the mat. Now you choose the arm position that's good for you. You might have that loop band around your thighs. Choose the arm position that's good for you. So not only I can feel, especially as I've got a fat diamond now, really pulling my knees apart, I can really feel it's in my thighs, it's in my glutes, it's in my core. So you choose the arm position that's good for you. So you might just do a little tap, come down by a few inches. Little narrow diamond, fat diamond, think about pulling those knees apart, or you might be able to lengthen those legs a little bit further. You choose the arm position that's good for you. I can really feel that in my thighs now. In my glutes, fat diamond. Just do a few more. Choose the arm position that's good for you. Pull the belly button to the spine. Fat diamond. Narrow diamond. Just do a couple more. And then we just stretch it out. And then hug your knees to your chest. So I really felt that in my quads, my thighs, my glutes, and my core. So that's a really good one. Really sort of working all those muscles. Just hug your knees to your chest, cross your ankles if you can, and then just grab your band and we just stretch it out. So we stretch out our thighs. So if you put the band underneath the arch of your right foot, left leg can be bent or lengthened depending on your flexibility. Push into your heel and just pull that band towards you. Pushing into the heel, feeling a deep stretch of the muscles in your legs and your glutes. Now drop your foot out to the right, tee your left. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Really lengthen arms at T. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Squeeze your glutes. Pull your belly button spine. Melt the rib cage into the mat and feel your core doing the work. Put the band in the left hand. T your right. Keep your shoulders glued to the mat. So I'm really lengthening through my shoulder joints. Arms at T. And I'm lengthening through my hip joint. Feeling a lovely stretch down the side of my body. Look in the opposite direction if you can. Take a breath in as you breathe out. I'm lengthening my leg back to center, using my deep core muscles, and I swap over. Right leg can be bent or lengthened depending on your flexibility. Pull the band towards you, pushing into the heel. Feeling a lovely deep stretch. I'm pushing into my heel. I feel that stretch in my calf muscle too. With control, drop your foot out to the left. Don't rely on the band too much. You want your core to do the work. Arms at T, really lengthen your arms away from each other so you're really opening up your chest. Then lengthen that leg back to center, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button spine. I'm not tugging on that band too much. Put the band in my right hand, T my left. Shoulders stay glued to the mat. Remember, come to the range of motion that's good for you. So if you're up here, that's good. You're still feeling a nice deep stretch down the lateral side. And lengthen that leg back to center, drop the band. So our left ankle is going to rest on our right thigh, hugging your knees to your chest. We're going to do something slightly different with this one. So only slightly different. So really relax that right foot. Really hug the knees to chest, relax, relax. So you're feeling a nice deep stretch of your left glute. Really hugging the knees to the chest. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now we're going to swap over. Before we swap over, we're lengthening our legs up to the ceiling. And then our right ankle on left thigh, hugging your knees to the chest. That's the only different thing, not that different. Really hug the knees to the chest, feel a deep stretch in your right glute. Really relax that foot, hugging the knee to the chest. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And gently put your foot down. If you remove your block, just grab your ball, put the ball underneath your head. We're just going to press into the ball for 8. Remember your double chin when you press into the ball. Releases lots of tension in the head, neck and shoulders. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And again, take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And one more, take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And just roll your head from side to side. Really relax the muscles and let the ball deepen the stretch in the muscles in your neck. Really relax the muscles, rolling your head from side to side. Really relax. And back to center. Just focus on your breath. And when you're ready, you gently roll to the side in your own time, breathing continuously and come up to center. Slowly, slowly. You don't want to get dizzy. And sit on your block if you can. Lengthen up, shoulders down your back pockets, pull the belly button to the spine. We just stretch the waist. Remember, stay weighted on your seat bones. Keep that arm straight. Don't bend it. Keep it nice and straight. And feel your lengthening through the shoulder joints. I'm in between that double glazing. I'm not leaning forward yet or leaning behind me. Keep the arms straight so you feel a nice deep stretch in the waist. Weighted in your seat bones, then lengthen forward. Lengthen, keep the arms straight, feeling a nice deep stretch down one side of my back. Stay weighted in your seat bones. Now my shoulders are down my back pockets, chest out to the sun. Feeling that stretch in the waist again. Pull the belly button, spine, and lengthen back to center. We'll do the other side. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets, feeling a nice deep stretch in my waist. Don't bend the arm. Keep it nice and lengthen through the shoulder joints. Then look down at the mat and lengthen forward, feeling a nice deep stretch down one side of my back. Stay weighted and open up. And lengthen back center, pulling your belly button to the spine. So we all come to 4-point kneeling, tucking our toes under. Don't roll up yet. It's Pilates stance, so your feet are at a 90-degree angle and your heels are glued together. Chest up, tailbone up to the ceiling, push into the heels. Really relax the top of your body. Squeeze your glutes, a little bend in your knees. Pull the belly button, spine, relax the top of your body, and you're going to see care of your spine. Really relax the top of your body as you restack one vertebra at a time, squeezing the glutes. We're just going to do some arm circles. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and open up your chest. Your arms come slightly behind you, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes. Lengthen through the shoulder joints. You can stay on your tiptoes if you want to. Pull that belly button to the spine. That really helps with your balance. Focus on a point out in front, squeezing your shoulder blades together, opening up your chest. And final one.